Hello, my crafty friends. It's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and today I'm bringing you another Halloween project. So I'm just showing you some of the supplies that I'm using. The embossing powder is glow in the dark, and that's from Brutus Monroe. A lot of these add-on items like the eyes and this kind of ribbon material are from previous card kits that are from Tim Holtz. So I'm just giving this a try. I wasn't sure how this would work out. So I'm just going to take my Versamark ink pad and randomly press it into my piece of cardstock. If I had to do it again, I might do it on dark cardstock, but for this round, I opted to do the heat embossing and then I'm going to do some ink blending over it. So now that I have some of the splotches down on this paper, I'm going to coat it with the glow-in-the-dark embossing powder, and I will heat set this. And then once I have that heat set, I will repeat the process so that I can get more coating with the glow-in-the-dark embossing powder. I didn't want it to be completely coated, so you could use different shapes if you wanted it to look that way, but I thought I'd just go direct with the Versamark ink pad and see how it turned out. So I'm just heat setting this in between. So it's best if you take your heat tool and let it warm up a little bit and then bring it to the paper. And you can tell when your embossing powder has melted because it won't be grainy. It will become, smooth and shiny. So you want to tilt it in the light and make sure that all of the embossing powder has been melted. And so I'm just repeating this until I get, a coating that I think is going to work. I think this might be the last time that I add some to it because I didn't want to overdo it, like I said, but it was hard to, I think waited too long with the Versamark ink to get it to stick to the glow-in-the-dark embossing powder. There's something about this glow-in-the-dark embossing powder specifically that, you got to get it on the Versamark ink pretty quickly for it to adhere to it. So I lied. I'm doing it again. Just dipping it in here, making sure that I've got, I didn't want to have too many spots. And so it was hard to tell if all of this was actually coated or not. So I'm just heat setting it all. And then once I do finish, when I get it as much as I want, I am going to take just a dry towel and wipe away any excess because the glow-in-the-dark powder left like a little film on there. So I'm just going to wipe away all of that, and it leaves behind just what I have embossed. So then I'm going to take these different distress inks. I just have the cubes for the distress inks, and I'm using Twisted Citron, Black Soot, and I think that might be Seedless Preserves for the purple. Not 100% on that one. And there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just slapping down some color. Where I have embossed is going to resist the ink so it won't, get onto that area. So I'm going to put down the green and the purple and then kind of do the black all around to give a kind of spooky dark edge to all of it. And I'm just going back through and darkening up some of the colors. It does mix a little bit and give it a little bit of a brown hue because it's green and purple, but it's a Halloween card, so I didn't mind that at all. And then I will go around with the black soot around the edge of the entire panel. And I will wipe this off because, like I said, that ink is sitting on top of that embossing powder. So you want to make sure that you wipe that away or you'll have it everywhere. Ask me how I know. So I'm just wiping that off. And then I'm going to take this. It's not ribbon. I don't honestly even know what it's called. I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive on the back and peel that off and then start wrapping this around just randomly around the project. It almost reminds me of like a glittery, what are those called? Like, that's awful. I can't even think of it. Pipe cleaners. That's what I'm trying to think of. Like a glittery pipe cleaner. That's kind of the feel I get of this. So I'm just wrapping it back up around itself and all around. No rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to trim off some of this and then add some more of the double-sided tape so that it catches in the back, so that it stays in place. And then I am going to take my glossy accents and adhere some of these Tim Holtz Ideology eyes. I have had these in my stash from a Halloween card kit for a very long time. What I learned is that these eyes and the glossy accents didn't want to adhere to the areas that I had heat emboss. So if it was straight paper, I could get it to stick better. So that's why you'll see me end up moving this one, because I couldn't get it to adhere, you know, in a timely fashion to the embossed area. So if I had something to probably clip it down and hold it, it might have worked better, but I did find it adhered much easier straight to the cardstock. So I'm just going to add some random eyes here and there to give this kind of a little spooky look, and I'm trying to switch up which colors that I use. And then I'm going to add that ephemera piece that you see in the upper left hand corner is going to be my sentiment. I'm not going to do any stamping for this card other than the heat embossing. You know, that's the only ink that sort of stamping that I did. So I'm just wondering if you guys have, been following along with the Halloween card series and what you think. Is there a favorite project that you've had so far? Do you have items or ideas that you'd like to see me create? If so, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'm always open to suggestions. I am going to pop this ephemera piece up on some foam tape just so that it is able to adhere easier to that embossed area. And then off camera, I put foam tape on the back of this and adhered it to my card panel in between the areas that I have the black on it so that it would lay flat. So that's today's project. I hope that you enjoyed it. And as always, I hope that you had a great day.